sleepy people. Welcome back to my channel. And if it's your first time here, welcome. Tonight we will be looking at this ancient magazine all about the movie Twilight. My parents got me this book when the movie came out, and I started reading the books after watching the movie. And I was obsessed. Obsessed. So, we're gonna take a walk down memory lane. Browse through this magazine. That sounds good. Then just sit back, relax, and let the tingles take over. So this magazine is called The Complete Illustrated Movie Companion of Twilight. By Mark Voss. Cover photo here, The Complete Illustrated Movie Companion. It's a little creepy, but you can see Kristen Stewart's face here. To Stephanie Meyer and Catherine Hardwicke and the cast and crew who brought Twilight to life, and with love and affection for my niece, Caitlin Vass-Labatt, a bright and beautiful soul and one of the legion of Twilighters. Here's just listing all the filmmakers. The famous scene. Say it. I know what you are. Say it. Edward and Bella were falling in love. There was nothing remarkable about that, nor that the two teenagers would be sitting outside at dusk, talking and watching the rain and darkening sky. A passerby might have been struck by the young man's good looks, but the scene was otherwise innocent and ordinary. But the two teens shared a secret. Edward was a vampire. It's twilight, Edward noted. It's the safest time for us, the easiest time, but also the saddest in a way. The end of another day, the return of the night. Darkness is so predictable, don't you think? I like the night, Bella replied. Without the dark, we'd never see the stars. I believe that's a direct quote from the book. I don't think that was actually ever said in the movie. The books, I read all of the books. They're quite romantic. Oh, here we go. The beloved Edward and all his vampire glory. Forbidden love. Forbidden love. This is when they were in the school and they finally started talking to each other for the first time because their first encounter was really bad. I was obsessed with this man. I can't even begin to tell you. Like, look at that face. Robert Pattinson. In Twilight, I fell in love instantly, and I developed very quickly an obsession. I mean, granted, I was very young, but I still love Robert Pattinson to this day. I think he's a great actor, and he seems like a really good person. Nice guy. The day Twilight was born, June 2nd, 2003. This is Stephanie Meyer. She's the author of the Twilight series. And she had a cameo role in the film. She's here in the diner where they filmed them in the diner. Another scene in the woods. It says here, Twilight taps into that young girl's primacy of first love and forbidden love, and how much more forbidden is it than to fall in love with the vampire. Bella herself is accessible to girls. Bella captures the side we all have, that feeling of being an outsider looking in, while still trying to keep up our iconoclastic nature. I wanted to be her as a young girl. Duh. I mean, I think every girl wanted to. Anyone who read the books was obsessed. Beautiful man. Long passages of text where Bella describes the beauty of Edward's face could be summed up in a single shot. Nice jawline. I do believe he was perfect for this role. In the books, he is described as being, well, like perfect, like a beautiful man. And, well, you get the point. He was gorgeous in the movie. behind the scenes shots. The caption here says Bella leaving the house used as the Swan residence in St. Helens, Oregon. So it's kind of funny because the movie is based in Forks, Washington, but I believe a lot of it was shot in this city here, St. Helens, Oregon, and you could still visit and drive by and look at the different places. The world of Twilight. The world of Twilight. The world of Twilight. See, this is also St. Helens, Oregon, substituting as Port Angeles, Washington. I would like to visit one day. It seems like a dreamy place to go to. I can literally hear the music of the film in my head. I feel like the music was like recent years. The music from this film kind of gained popularity that I don't think it had back then. Like, I feel like there's been this newfound, like, cult appreciation of the indie records used in that film, and I have to say, I stand behind it. I also thought the music was, like, unique, and it's just a cult classic now, the film as a whole, but the music contributes to that, that's for sure. Bella Swan observed when she arrived from Arizona to Washington. When I landed in Port Angeles, it was raining. I didn't see it as an omen, just unavoidable. I'd already said my goodbyes to the sun. Yeah, Washington is a very, very, very rainy state. Washington and Oregon, I believe. Oregon. I'm not sure to pronounce it. I don't know if one is incorrect or not. But it is a very rainy state and area. So it makes sense that vampires would be there that can't go out in the sun. Each day of the tight shooting schedule was a day that couldn't be wasted, and they also had special time restrictions for actors under 18, in particular Kristen Stewart, who was in nearly every scene and a minor until 2.5 weeks before the end of shooting. I did not know that. I did not know that she was under 18. That's crazy. That's so crazy. this scene, I was so happy that they were finally, like, going on a date with each other. I was like, finally, like, they can stop being weird. And I think he tells her, I'm finding it very hard to stay away from you, or something like that. Swoon fest, I mean. Come on. I was young. I think to a lot of older generations, when this movie came out, it might have seemed a little silly to them, and I understand that. But from the perspective of a young girl, you don't think about, like, how cringy something is at that age. You just romanticize everything. Enter Jacob. And all her cronies. We have Jessica, who was Anna Kendrick. This was Mike and Eric, Tyler. Don't know who this girl was. I guess she was just an extra. And then this was Angela. And of course Taylor Lautner. Actor Taylor Lautner displays Jacob Black's infectious charm. Were you guys Team Jacob or Team Edward? I was Team Edward, but I think you could have guessed that by now. Okay. This is sort of interesting. When she falls in love with Edward and merges with the Cullen world, her palette goes to more cool colors. Her clothes become a little softer and romantic, less tomboy. Here they're just talking about the filming location. As Bella settled in and we returned to her room, Catherine wanted to have distinct looks of progress, as though Bella was adding more personal touches. I think here they're giving a word about the attire that they chose. It says, "It isn't Manhattan or Beverly Hills, but the kids in Forks are not from Podunk either. It's more generic USA. The phenomenon of the internet has changed these smaller towns. Kids buy off the internet, although their clothes are appropriate for the weather. The thing that surprised me in Oregon was they wear hoodies and jeans, but they hardly ever wear raincoats. They just get damp and go indoors. That struck me as a little different. I would have gotten that from the research. I wouldn't have gotten that from the research. We would have our extras come in, and they didn't have raincoats. I didn't ask them, but I assume it just wasn't considered cool. It looked a little wrong. I had to give a little more flavor to their clothing than I wanted. That's interesting. Bella is strangely drawn to 17-year-old Edward. There's that look of contempt from Edward when Bella steps into the room, but it's not because he doesn't like her or thinks that she smells bad, because that's what she thought it was. It's because the smell, the scent of her blood is so potent to him that it's borderline unbearable. Secrets of the vampires. Secrets of the vampires. Secrets of the the Cullen family. They're also attractive, of course. That is crazy. They're all rigged up to like jump and fly. This is when they finally destroy the vampire that's trying to kill Bella. Getting prepped for jumping through the trees, I guess. There is also a feeling for how vampires move, how much of their animal instincts should come through, and how to show that. We studied videos of mountain lions and cougars and different predatory animals and their hunting mode. going prom dress shopping. Oh, and you can see someone is spraying water. Someone from the set is spraying water on the floor. And it says on the rare sunny days, the streets would be hosed down with water to keep continuity. So interesting, these little facts. Ah, yes. The famous car crash rescue scene. We formed the aluminum over the real door to get the shape to match perfectly, Leader explained. Then we flamed out a big hole out of the middle where we wanted the dent to be, and put these sheets on top of that so he could bend and push that section back. So this was just an aluminum sheet. Such a dramatic, intense scene. This picture doesn't really capture it, but this is where he shows that he sparkles, or that vampires in general, they sparkle in the sunshine. You can't really see it in this photo. You see his eyes are very dark here, and that means that he hasn't eaten in a while. It says here, Catherine described the character as darkly masculine. She said if this movie was made 30 years ago, Edward wouldn't be a vampire but a biker. That Bella would be falling in love with a biker from the wrong side of the tracks. So he's supposed to be a bad boy, is what I'm getting. Just then, just as we were about to call it off, the skies opened up just enough. I guess they were waiting for some sun to film the scene. The Cullens. The Cullens. The Cullens. Cullens. I remember studying this shot here when I had this magazine as a kid, because everyone is just so attractive. I will say I don't remember her having zebra print gloves on, but okay, you know. This is when they invited her over for the first time and made her Italian food because her name was Bella, and she didn't eat any because she had already eaten. And she was upset. Each family member wore the crest in a distinctive personal way. I used to have a t-shirt with this crest on it. Honey eyes. Their eyes are described as honey or golden, Van View explained. But when they're hungry, they are a dark brown and black. You don't even see the pupils. Where they all are sort of aware that Edward and Bella are involved, or that he has a crush on her, but he's still grilling her. Says here, Rob looks different from the others. We wanted him to stand out. I wonder what it is that they did to make him stand out. Like, in what way does he look different? I don't know. I think I always thought Emmett looked a little different from all of them. An athlete. Says as Bella becomes friends with the Cullen family, she's honored with an invitation, rarely if ever accorded to a mortal, to be the spectator at a vampire baseball game. James, who's the main character here. Oh no, wait, this is James. This is Laura and Victoria. I can't believe I messed that up. Shame on me. James was generally described in the book as having cropped hair, but with Stephenie Meyer's permission, a more elaborate look was developed. I don't remember what was happening in this scene. Clearly something concerning. This is when she was already bit by James, so the venom was coursing through her body. And I believe she would have turned into a vampire that night if Edward didn't suck the venom out of her. I'm not sure, but I think this is a real tribe. I have to do my research on it. It looks like this day of filming was very cold. A very cold rain, which I hate cold rain, so I would have been miserable. It says here, the weather absolutely became a character in this movie. We couldn't control it, and we had to be fully prepared to change locations and move quickly if the weather got really bad. It made for some tense times, not knowing what was going to happen. Sometimes it would be raining, or there'd be hail and sleet, but people worked through it. You just had to forge ahead. Enough for forever. Enough. Enough for forever. He doesn't actually bite her there, but he does eventually. Says the first piece Carter Burrell wrote is the Bella and Edward love theme, or Bella's lullaby. It ends on a beautiful piano piece, which the crazy talented Rob Pattinson actually plays on camera. I didn't know that he actually played it on camera, or maybe I did know and I forgot. this year. Our stars, Rob and Kristen, both had great ideas about music. Rob has recorded several songs for the film, and Kristen suggested the final prom song by Iron and Wayne. I thought her prom dress was a little boring, if I must confess. But I'm still glad they went together. Yeah, like I didn't care for the leggings under her dress and the sneakers. But her foot was injured, so I get that. But I think the leggings were unnecessary.